Irreconcilable differences. That is the push that former Midvaal Mayor Bongani Baloyi has cited for leaving Action SA. At a press briefing yesterday, the once rising star said that is how party leader Herman Mashaba described their relationship, as he essentially demoted him from being the Gauteng chair to national spokesperson, a position he found untenable. It comes a little over a year after Baloyi ditched the Democratic Alliance for Action SA. The party has confirmed a mutual parting of ways. And just to be clear, we did invite Herman Mashaba to join us for this conversation, an opportunity the party has declined. Bongani Baloyi, I remember when we last spoke to you in person in the studio, it might even have been pre-pandemic. My goodness, how the time flies. Your star was on the rise. It all looked so promising. What went wrong?
Well, good morning. Look, I think one had a fantastic opportunity to contribute to a political party such as Action SA. And unfortunately, when the leader of Action SA tells you that, according to him, the relationship between yourself and him has deteriorated, and so has the position of trust as well. And as a consequence, wants to remove me as the provincial spokesperson and appoint me as the national spokesperson, which for me was nonsensical, because for the same reasons you're using.
I'm going to interrupt you, Bongani. You said provincial spokesperson. I think it's provincial chair. Am I correct?
Yes. My apologies. Yes. My apologies. You are
Just so we are clear. Just so we are clear.
Absolutely. So he wanted to remove me as provincial chairperson and appoint me as national spokesperson. And I said, for the same reasons that you're removing me as provincial chairperson, you can't appoint me as national spokesperson, because the trust relationship has not improved according to you. And the position of national spokesperson works with you on a day-to-day basis. And at this stage, the party has a national spokesperson. And I think it's unfair to really be trading with people's positions whom have been appointed and given that responsibility without at least engaging them.
This issue of irreconcilable differences, many people will say that ultimately, isn't it about cooperation with the ANC? Now, you have been at pains to point out that the genesis of that thinking was with Mashaba himself. But whatever its origins, he's clear now that will not be something Action SA will do. Is that a view you share?
That's a view I left in the party and accepted that is his view. But it's important to have...
What's yours? That's the question.
View is that, yes, I'm telling you my view. My view is that we need to have stable coalitions. Unstable coalitions will lead to the type of mess we are seeing today. And when the point of departure is about keeping other parties out, you don't respond to the central question, which is what is in the interest of these cities. So we don't need to embark on a coalition process on the basis of hate. And I really think that undermines what we are trying to do and circumvents the ability to provide stable government. And I really think all parties should apply their minds. According to me, the fewer parties in a coalition, the better. So the preference would have been to see, and I quite like the thinking of the DA now in terms of coalition, where they are considering working with the ANC at a national level. We can't have more than 3 parties at a national level. So a coalition of 7-10 parties is going to be disastrous. The fewer, the better. That's the principal position I have. The fewer, the better.
You like the DA's position on it. Does that indicate perhaps you might return to your original political home?
No, I don't. But I think it's important for parties like that who have a dominant share at a national level to really consider, and the ability to be flexible in this case will really assist the country and stabilize things.
But ultimately, any member of any party must be disciplined and go with the view that dominates in that party. Critics will look at you and they'll look at even the press briefing you gave yesterday when you were sharing your record, and they might say, hang on, did Bongani Baloyi become too big for his boots?
Well, it's a fair question, but consider, I was never given any process to say these are allegations about you. You have done this wrong to constitute this irreconcilable differences. Nothing. It's just a statement from one person who just said that to me and gave me reasons. I still ask, what exactly did I do? Nothing was afforded to me, no response. So for anybody to be able to judge me and my decision, how would you react when somebody tells you, according to him, the relationship has deteriorated and the relationship of trust is no longer there, when you've never been afforded an opportunity to state a case or someone to accuse you of something so you can be able to respond? So I think it's quite important for me to demonstrate to young people that we don't need to sell our souls to hold on to positions. It's not about positions, it's about giving value. And I've given value in Action SA. Today, as we speak, there's a South African dream. There's the political academy. I've contributed immensely in Action SA.
Sure.
And it's quite important for young people to start appreciating that we can live on our terms, embark on the journeys on our terms, and things don't work. And I really took that decision because I really saw here what was happening. It wasn't about whether I'm becoming too big or not, but it was an issue of someone saying there's alleging to me something that I was not even aware of.
All right, here we go. You say that no charges were put to you. The rejoinder to that might be, well, you weren't being fired. You were simply being moved to a different position. I mean, what ultimately is wrong with being the national spokesperson? Presumably next to the leader, you've got the most visibility.
No, but you see, when you approach this conversation and that's what you're suggesting, it makes sense. But you don't come to me and say to me, the relationship, according to you, that we have has deteriorated. And as a consequence, there's a lack of trust. How do you then appoint me in a position that works with you on a day-to-day basis more than the position of a chairperson of a province? It doesn't make sense. It's nonsensical.
Keep your friends close and your enemies even closer. Maybe that was the thinking, to bring you into the fold to more directly influence what you were going to communicate on behalf of the party.
No, it's this thing of common man politics, or we just want to move politics or appreciate politics on the basis of common sense. This thing is sophisticated, it's complex, it's not just like that. And words have meaning, Bongani, and you know that very well. You can't tell an individual who's delivered and who continuously contributes to the party that I don't trust you, and because I don't trust you and our relationship, according to me, has deteriorated, I am going to move you. You can't do such a thing. You must approach things from a tactical point of view and say, look, we may have some challenges at a national level. We want to increase our footprint, and we believe that you are best placed to communicate this and be able to assist. And we see you're doing well in the province, and we believe that you can play a strategic role at a national platform. You see, there's a different approach of taking this, but I don't think the intention was to really tap onto my skills and to get to that stage. It was never about that.
Let's talk about your skills. Let's talk about that tactical positioning. What next for you? Will you join another political party? Still have ambitions politically?
No. I'm a political animal. I'll apply my mind. I'm just going through finishing what I needed to do this week and applying my mind, and also determine the course of action.
You left the DA as part of an exodus of a number of leaders. You couldn't make it work in Action SA. Some might say this is precisely why no opposition party has really been positioned to be able to dislodge the ANC. These squabbles we see in parties, this revolving door of leaders, that's the gift that keeps on giving to the ANC.
It certainly does. But what you're also not seeing here is how young people are treated in politics, and how the perception to young people is constantly being reaffirmed to them that politics is not a space for young people. It's only the preserve of the old, of those who have struggled credentials, of those who have money, and people who just have agency, a passion, and time, but no money, are treated in an unfair manner. And for me, part of me deciding to act in the manner I did is precisely to demonstrate to South Africans and young people specifically that you can say no, you can say not with my name, not with my dignity. I contribute because I want to, and I contribute because it's a passion for me, and I can take my agency elsewhere and determine how I live and how I lead my life, and my destiny is fully in my hands.
And it's that elsewhere and that destiny I'm curious about. You've been quite clear in talking about young people. Is there a youth formation perhaps then on the cards?
No, this whole issue about young people is what I've been championing since being mayor of Midvala. I was mayor at 26 and I've been championing that. Maybe you did not notice then, but I've been championing that to give hope to young people, to ensure that I inspire many others to get into public service and to put their heads in the ring and get into the middle of the contest. And we must force our way to the table, because many decisions will be made about this country without young people. And I think that's unfortunate. Young people are the majority stakeholders of this country. We must ensure that the time changes. We are not the generation that's going to sit and be appointed as ministers and be told there's a young minister appointed at 48. We are not the generation. We are going to keep fighting for our space. We're going to keep trying things, and if we fail, we'll move on or try others as well, because where our country is requires people who are brave and stupid enough to try again.
Bongani Baloyi, ever the politician, saying it without saying it. He's going to go and apply his mind, he says. Watch this space for further developments. He's left Action SA as a party. And what does that indicate to you about the state of opposition parties? We've seen a number of them leave various parties. It seems to be that there's this revolving door of leaders. Is that exactly where the ANC wants them?
Current events. Developing stories.
Tough questions.
Your voice making a difference.
This is Breakfast with Bongani Bingwa.